like across the screen, like my let me see. Yeah, my navigation bar, like the about and contact are right underneath home and store, so it's not straight across.
Oh,
And I,
yeah.
yeah, and I looked over the style CSS and the code, and it's all matching from the screenshot. I know in the video you mentioned about properties and things like that, but I'm not too familiar with it, so
Yeah.
it probably had something
Okay.
to do with
Sure.
that.
This
So.
assignment, there's a lot of new uh, terms and techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go to my screen view in Dreamweaver. Oh, I haven't shared my screen yet, so let me share. One thing, so this is the formatted page.
Mm-hmm.
And does it appear like this? I know you said your graphic wasn't showing that, but
Yeah, so
you're talking about with the navigation.
yes, I am going to pull up my Dreamweaver. When it's in design mode, the navigation does look like that. And I believe when I did the tag, I did not have it to where the quote was underneath the tag, and that's why it didn't pop up the
Yeah.
way it did. Um, so I can try and do that really quick.
Okay. Yeah, and when you switch to live view, then the navigation should appear at the top.
Yes, and it does.
Okay.
And then about and contact, I think because my text is just too big, um, it's the about and contact falls right underneath home and store
Okay.
instead of being straight across.
One way to easily fix that
Mm-hmm.
is just to adjust the font size. So if you select your text in the navigation,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go to my CSS designer panel and select my unordered list in the navigation, or you can select navigation list and then go to text under properties. So do you see where that is? And they're under selectors.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then under text, I set the width to 10%.
For some reason, all of that isn't showing when I hit the navigation list. Maybe it's because I haven't clicked on it.
Okay, let me go to design view.
Here, text, more text.
And then you can go also to font size and
Mm-hmm.
switch from medium to small.
In the properties.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
you select the navigation list and then you can click on text under properties and switch the font size. Let me go to this page that hasn't been formatted
Okay.
and then go ahead and do that. So let me just go over and make sure. So you got the block quote now in the header tag and header.
I don't. I will do that.
Okay, so that's one thing you can do.
Okay, let me try to. Okay, so I'm back.
And then you got the section ID with the excerpt tag.
Yes, I did do that.
And then we've got the navigation underneath that with the navigation tag.
Mm-hmm.
And then the footer under that.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to find where the quote was in the body paragraph so I can just.
Yeah, and there was, for some reason, mine had an extra block quote.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where that is. So here where it says, obviously a red apple is not red,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to delete that block quote from my code.
Mm-hmm.
Because I already had that text in the paragraph above it. I don't know if you had that issue too.
I think I do. I think I accidentally deleted that, and that's probably why it's not
Okay.
up in my body paragraph.
No problem. So now I'm going to add my CSS style sheet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll just.
I'm going to add it as a link.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I've added that, now the header graphic is showing up.
Yes, the header graphic did show up for me. It was the white background
Oh, okay.
that didn't necessarily show.
So you want to make sure you add that section ID excerpt
Mm-hmm.
tag.
The white background on the header. You know where the quote is. Yeah.
Oh, there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That should be part of the navigation. Let me switch to live view. So in the code, down in the navigation, make sure that your navigation code comes after your section tags.
Comes after the section tags. Okay. I am still. Okay, that's conclusion. Right. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, so then
You see that now, the white bar?
okay, I'm just now adding the styles here. Okay, style CSS and making sure the navigation is after. Yeah, it is not after the section. So
Yeah, so move that navigation tag with the unordered list.
mm-hmm.
Hide it after the closing section tag.
Okay, here's the section. Hmm. Navigation section. Huh. It doesn't seem to have. Okay, so section ID. Okay. There's just so much body text. Okay, I'm trying to.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so there's the table. Okay. Okay, so the navigation is after the section.
Okay.
And I wish I could share my screen. I wish there was a way that I could do that.
You should be able to.
Oh, I do. Oh, I cannot share while you are sharing.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I can. Let me just show you one more thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can go to your screen. So that navigation list,
Right.
once you got it in the right place, if
Mm-hmm.
you select under the selectors the navigation list A,
Mm-hmm.
then I selected text under properties and I changed the font size to small. So it was medium and then I changed it to small. And once I did that, then it fit on that bar top there.
It's showing me under navigation list A, it's showing me text, the color, font weight, and text decoration, but not the.
Uncheck the show set.
Okay.
And then, so when the show set just shows you what's been done to it, the properties that have been added. So if you uncheck it, you can establish new properties or edit, other properties. So if you select the text option and then scroll down to font size.
Yeah, font size. And you said you changed it to small.
Small, yeah.
It's still showing that about is in contacted underneath home and store.
Okay, did you try it in live view too?
Yeah, it's in live right now.
Okay, try try the nav list selector and change the width to 10%. What does it say right now?
It says 20.
Okay, change that to 10.
Okay. Now it's condensed. Keep it on this one. Okay. Okay. It's all in one bar now.
Okay, good. Okay, so then I can stop sharing and then take a look at your screen.
Okay.
Hi, Paige.
Hi.
Joining us. Okay. I don't know how much you got of that. Okay, so we're looking at Anna's screen.
And then here is, I will just. There we go. Okay. I will just show the live view. So this is what it looks like to me. The white box is missing, even though I put the quote
Oh,
within.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. within the header. Everything else seems to be fine.
Yeah, mine was doing the same thing. That was my question because the side text next to the title isn't there, and then there wasn't like a footer for mine either.
Okay. Check to see in your code. Can I look at your code, Anna?
I'll just pull up the code.
So the text under the header needs to be in the block quote format.
Okay.
So if you select that paragraph and use the properties panel to add the block quote option.
Okay.
There. Yeah.
Okay. So that pretty much fixed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. If you wanted to adjust the space for your navigation menu, you could adjust the padding and margin, but I wouldn't really worry about, I'm not going to take off for that. So we'll talk more about margin and padding in the next module.
Okay, gotcha.
So it looks like you've got everything else formatted.
Okay, because yeah, it was just a navigation bar that for some reason the about and contact was underneath the store, and I couldn't really figure out how to fix that. I knew probably the font size would have fixed it, but I knew it probably had to be something more than that. And then, okay, I just had to add the block quote to fix that.
Yeah, no, that looks good.
Okay, I will save this then. I think that was it. I will stop sharing now since that was.
Okay, great. I'm glad that worked out.
How do I?
For mine.
Oh, yeah.
The home, like the top where it says home, like store, tools, etc. That wasn't showing up either for mine.
The home, do you have yours on your computer?
Okay. I don't, because I don't have it on my MacBook.
Okay, let me share my screen then. All right, I'm going to share mine. And I'm just going to go back to, let's see here, which is, I'm going to go back to just the text without the CSS style sheet attached to it, and just go through and make sure that the code is correct before you attach the style sheet. So I'm in design view. So make sure that your title and that first paragraph are in the header tags. Do you see the code view here, my code pane? And then make sure that paragraph, you got the block quote tags. And then the section tag for the text all the way to until you get to the navigation. So in the code, that should be called section, and then you should add the ID selector excerpt by using the section ID tags and properties. You can just select excerpt. And then make sure that your navigation comes after the section tag. So after the closing section tag, then you'll have your navigation selector with the unordered list inside of that. Then the footer, you need to add the footer tags after the navigation. Okay. So then you've got your footer opening tag, then the paragraph for the footer text, then your closing footer tag, and then your closing body tag.
So where, in this view, where is like the home button?
Okay, so.
Wait, is that what's on the bottom? Or?
Yes. Yes, so your navigation is actually in design view. It's going to be at the bottom of your page. Because it actually, so that's why design view is not really accurate of what it'll look like in your browser. But this is more organizational. So the navigation container comes after the section tag. So it's going to be at the bottom. It's going to be in between the section and the footer containers.
Okay.
So it sounds like that's what's missing on yours, that maybe the footer and the navigation are not in the right place in the code.
Yeah.
So make sure it matches the code here on my screen. So after the closing section, then the navigation, closing navigation, then footer, closing footer.
Okay.
Then once you've added the correct selectors to the right sections, then you can add that CSS page, the file. So then I'm going to browse to my CSS style sheet and open that and add it as a link. And then once you do that, you should see, again, I've got this extra block quote that I'm just going to delete here. And then you should see the white box behind the text. You should see the graphic in the header, that block quote. The navigation is going to look like this in design view, but if you switch to live view, then you'll see it up at the top. And then if you scroll down, you'll see the table formatted, and then that footer should come at the very bottom.
Okay.
And then one thing I went over with Anna is because you have more text now with this new text than we did in the typography tutorial. So if your text is not all fitting here at the top of your navigation, you can use the selector. So under CSS Designer, select your navigation list selector, and then uncheck Show Set. Go to your text under Properties. And I'm going to scroll up and change the width to 10%. So it's going to be at 20%, but you change it to 10% to just make it smaller. Then go to the navigation list A. Do the same thing, uncheck Show Set, click on Text under Properties, and change the font size to small. So it's going to initially be set to medium, but just scroll and select small.
Okay.
Then the text in the navigation should fit over that bar.
Okay.
And so I'm recording this video, so if you need to go watch it later and go back and look at my screen, you can do that.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
That was all of my questions for now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so if there's no other questions, I can just stop this. I'll try to do another Zoom next week for homework 8. So I'll try to do that before the homework is due.
Okay.
But for now, I'll go ahead and close, and then you can just submit in the late section. So if you already submitted and you did something wrong, or you just didn't understand how to do it correctly, just write in the comment when you submitted in the late section that say, I already submitted this, but I didn't do it correctly, or just tell me, if there's a reason why you're submitting it late, just so I've got it in, okay, so I can look at it in the late section submission.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Bye.